What up, world? Established Rich coming right back at you. Yella Beezy is fighting for his life in court, and this is another reminder that rap can be art until the lyrics start sounding too close to the crime.
Well, this morning, a Dallas judge reduced the bond for rapper Yella Beezy. Yella Beezy, whose real name is R.I.C.H, faces a capital murder charge for allegedly hiring a hitman to kill a fellow rapper. Now, back in 2020, Conway allegedly agreed to pay a man named Keiwan White to kill his former friend turned rival MO3, whose real name is Melvin Noble. White shot and killed Noble after a car chase on I-35, and today a judge reduced Conway's bond from $2 million to $750,000 on the condition that he doesn't have any contact with victims, witnesses, or co-defendants in the case.
We got to be clear from the start. Yella Beezy has been charged, but he has not been convicted. But the charge itself is serious. Prosecutors are not just saying this was a rap beef that got out of hand. They are saying this was capital murder for hire. That means the state believes somebody was paid or promised payment to take MO3 off the board. That is a different level of case. And that is why this trial has people locked in, because MO3 didn't lose his life in some quiet backstreet moment. He was chased on a Dallas highway in broad daylight. He got out of his car trying to survive, and his life still ended right there in public. That is the whole part that makes this feel bigger than music. This was a man. This was a father. This was an artist with fans, family, and a future. And now, years later, the courtroom is trying to answer whether the beef around him turned into a paid hit. That is why the lyrics matter in this conversation. Not because every rap lyric should be treated like a confession, but because some rappers have made the court's job too easy by putting real-life details in their music. That is the part people don't want to be honest about.
Attorneys for Dallas rapper Yella Beezy returned to court Thursday asking that several rap songs be kept out of his upcoming capital murder trial. Yella Beezy, whose legal name is R.I.C.H, is charged with orchestrating the 2020 killing of fellow Dallas rapper MO3 in what prosecutors allege was a murder-for-hire plot. Conway has pleaded not guilty. The defense's key witness was rap scholar Dr. Eric Nielsen, who testified that gangsta rap often features fictional characters, hyperbole, and staged rivalries, making it dangerous for jurors to interpret lyrics as literal admissions of guilt.
Well, if rappers are saying, and I say rappers in their characters using their stage names, but if they're saying, I did this, I did that, if you strip that of all of its artistic intent, if you negate it as rap, as an art form, it can sound like straight confession. That's a perfect way to send people to jail for something they didn't do.
Prosecutors countered with Dallas Police Homicide Detective Eric Barnes. Barnes testified that rap lyrics are never the starting point of a homicide investigation. Barnes also walked the court through evidence surrounding what prosecutors describe as a long-running feud involving Conway. Prosecutors also played Conway's recorded interview with Louisville police after he survived a 2018 drive-by shooting. Barnes testified investigators later determined the Ford minivan believed to have been used in that attack was registered to an associate of MO3. The judge has not yet decided whether those rap songs will be admitted as evidence when Conway's capital murder trial gets underway as soon as next month. In Dallas, I'm Tanya Iser.
This is why people are gonna argue over the case. One side is gonna say rap lyrics are art, and they are right. Hip hop has always been about exaggeration, persona, street talk, and performance. Everybody who raps about violence did not commit violence. Everybody who says they have money on somebody's head don't really have a bounty out. That has to be said. A lot of it is cap. But the other side is gonna say, stop playing with our intelligence. Because sometimes a rapper is not just creating a character. Sometimes he is bragging. Sometimes he is leaving breadcrumbs. Sometimes he is so stuck in his own ego that he tells the world exactly what happened because he thinks the song makes him untouchable. That is where rap gets dangerous in a courtroom. The law should not use generic street lyrics just to make a black artist look guilty. But if the lyrics start matching the facts too closely, you gotta have a conversation. If somebody gets hit on 8th Street at 5 o'clock and then a rapper says he rolled down 8th Street at 5 o'clock in a blue car and he was shooting, we can stop acting like this is just creative writing. At some point, common sense has to be allowed in the room. That's my issue with how people defend this stuff sometimes. They want to say every lyric is fiction until the lyrics help the rapper look real. Then it becomes authentic. Then it becomes street. Then it becomes why the fans should believe him. You cannot sell realness to the audience and then run the fiction when the court starts listening.
Dallas rapper Yella Beezy and his two co-defendants in a murder-for-hire case are set to stand trial August 24th. His real name is R.I.C.H. Conway. Prosecutors say he paid a hitman to gun down his rap rival on 35 in Dallas, November of 2020. And a debate in the case is whether rap lyrics can be used as evidence. Fox 4's Lori Brown live with the story. Lori.
Heather, today, attorneys for the accused hitmen and prosecutors argued if the gunman should stand trial first or the rapper accused of hiring him. Here is the backstory. Dallas rapper Yella Beezy, whose real name is R.I.C.H. Conway, is accused of hiring Kewan Dontrell White to shoot his rap rival, MO3, whose real name is Melvin Noble. Prosecutors say the two rappers had a long-standing feud that Conway also wrote about in his lyrics. White, the alleged hitman, was arrested in December 2020 and is serving an 8-year, 9-month federal prison sentence on firearm charges related to the incident. The judge ruled today that White will still stand trial first, but his defense attorneys argued the man accused of hiring him should be the first on trial.
Mr. Conway's attorneys have absolutely no duty to disclose anything to the state about what their defense is or anything to any of the other co-defendant attorneys about what their defense may be. And it may be that the only way that we can discover that there is some alternative theory, that there is some other evidence that exists that would benefit our client in his defense is through that trial. Is through Mr. Conway's trial.
We are asking the court to do what's right, not only by the criminal justice system, but by the family, and let this community hear this case of the man who's alleged of shooting and killing Melvin Noble on I-35 and is also charged with aggravated assault for shooting a neurosurgeon in the head that day on the freeway.
White's attorney argued that there could be bank statements and other financial records that could come out at Conway's trial, and not knowing about those documents puts their client at a disadvantage. Prosecutors argued that with White in custody since 2020, his counsel has had plenty of time to seek out those documents on their own. The judge plans to make a decision about whether or not rap lyrics are admissible at a later time. The judge asked attorneys to make sure that all three defendants are ready to stand trial August 24th in case a plea deal ends up changing the schedule. Heather.
All right, Lori Brown live in Dallas. Thank you.
This is the whole fight right here. The defense wants the judge to see these lyrics as artistic expression. The prosecution wants the judge to see the lyrics as part of a real world pattern. Both sides have a point, but only one side has to match the lyrics to the evidence. That is the key. A bar by itself should not convict anybody. A song by itself should not send a man to prison for life. But if the bar connects to call records, text messages, movement, relationships, and a history of real conflict, then it becomes something else. Now it's just not music. Now it's context. And that is why rappers have to stop being so stupid with their own freedom. You cannot keep putting criminal language in your records. Build your image around it. Push it to the public. And then act shocked when the prosecutors press play. The same internet that can help a rapper build a name can help the federal government build a timeline. That's why this case feels like another crash out lesson. If the allegations are true, then the ego won again. Ego said the beef had to go further. Ego said the streets had to see something. Ego said the music, the image, and the reputation was worth more than a man's life. Now a man is dead, and another man is facing the possibility of never coming home. That is not winning. That is everybody losing while the internet gets a story to follow.
We want a first-person narration. In this investigation, because of the keep it in the street motto, we weren't able to get that in an interrogation room. We had to go to YouTube to get it. We had to go to social media to get it. People weren't willing to speak and cooperate with law enforcement so this crime could be solved. Instead, it was monetized through songs and carried out further and inflamed through music and social media posts.
You heard Dr. Nielsen testify. Do you have any problems with his descriptions that rappers are playing a character? They give themselves a name and they're playing a character.
I have a huge problem with that.
And what's that?
That narrative can be true, but it also can not be true. It's up to an individual basis.
But they are playing a character, correct? They take a stage name, they go by that name.
I don't know that necessarily a character is what I would call it. They do have a stage name, but I don't know that they're playing a character.
This is where hip hop has to be honest with itself. We love to say the music is just entertainment. Sometimes it is. But a lot of rap is sold on the idea that it's real. The marketing says it's real. The fans demand that it's real. The artist gets mocked if people think it ain't real. The pressure creates a sick game where rappers think they have to prove that they live their lyrics. Then when the law shows up, everybody wants to pretend the whole thing was made up. That's why I do not like the dishonest part of this debate. I don't want the justice system targeting rap just because it's rap. But I also don't want people using rap as a hiding place after they spend years telling everybody that the art is real life. There has to be a line. And that line should be evidence. If the lyrics are random, leave them out. If the lyrics are generic, leave them out. If the lyrics are only being used to make the jury scared of a black man, leave them out. But if the lyrics match the facts, the timeline, the motive, and the people involved, then I understand why the state wants them in. That don't mean that lyrics prove a case. It means the lyrics may help explain. And that is a difference people have to respect. That is also why MO3's part of the story cannot get lost. MO3 is not just a name in somebody else's trial. He was a person who lost his life. He was the one running on that highway trying to get away. He was the one who never got to come back and tell his side. So when people argue about whether the lyrics should be used or not, I understand the free speech conversation, but I also think about the victim's family hearing songs that sounds like their pain is being turned into a trophy. That is a hard thing to ignore. If the music has nothing to do with the case, then it should not be used to poison a jury. But if the music is connected, the family has a right to ask why the world should pretend it don't hear it. That is why this trial is bigger than Yella Beezy. This is about how rap culture, street ego, and real violence keep colliding until somebody ends up dead or in jail. And that's the sad part. The same people who chill that tough talk ain't gonna sit beside you in that courtroom. They not gonna serve your sentence. They're not gonna raise them children left behind. And they not gonna help a mother make peace who lost her son. They would just move on to the next story. That's why these crash outs never add up. The image gets a moment. The consequences get a lifetime. And by the time the lawyers start arguing over lyrics, it's already too late for somebody. So I'm gonna take y'all out like this. Yella Beezy is presumed innocent, and the state have to prove what they claiming. But rappers have to stop acting surprised when their own words get pulled into a courtroom. If you rap like a criminal, move like a criminal, and then the facts start looking real, the court is going to ask real questions. That does not mean every lyric is a confession. It means that some people have been dumb enough to turn their own music into a map. If this case proves what prosecutors say it proves, then this is another story about ego beating common sense. MO3 lost his life. A bystander was hurt. Families were changed forever. And now Yella Beezy is facing a trial where the same image that helped him sell records might help prosecutors convict his ass. That is the warning. Rap can be art. But when art starts sounding like evidence, the character you created won't be sitting next to you in court. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Established Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.